Look who's getting a haircut after 11 years. Troy Polamalu, the Steelers safety, doing big boy things. 11 years since you had your last haircut?
Yeah, 11, 12 years, just about.
But when you went to the Steelers, did anybody give you grief about your hair, make fun of you, haze you at all, just because of your hair?
No, I was actually worried that the veterans were going to cut it. Thank God I came to an organization where veterans really took care of the young guys.
No hazing?
No, nope. Coach Tom's got a great saying: if you're willing to help us win and put your hand in the pile, then you're family around here. So.
But there's a locker room culture. Help me understand. Let's take names out of it, and with what's going on with the Dolphins. A culture of a veteran against a younger player and trying to toughen him up or bullying him a little bit or hazing him a little bit or pranks. How often does it go on? And what is the culture with keeping it in the locker room?
Well, I don't think every culture and every organization is the same. For our organization here in Pittsburgh, it's always been a family style of culture. It starts from the top, obviously, with Mr. Rooney. We see him every day. He travels with us everywhere we go, both Mr. Art and Dan Rooney, and their wives. So, they just talk about family being here in Pittsburgh. And that really permeates throughout our locker room.
How do you settle a problem, an issue in the locker room?
What kind of issue?
Well, fights break out, altercations break out. How do you keep it in-house where it's just okay? I mean, it's a physical sport you play, and you get tired of your teammates. So how do you handle something like that, a physical altercation?
I think for the most part, just as professional athletes or even altercations from even when I was in high school football or college football, it's always been left on the field. Once it gets to the locker room, everything is just like it never happened.
You ever get into a fight with a teammate?
Unfortunately, a few times in my career.
What happened?
Well, I'm always the one that's asking for forgiveness afterwards. So,
okay.
My conscience, it always beats up my conscience, So, yeah, whether it's just, sometimes things get really intense out there on the practice field, even in games. But, we just realize that, that's sometimes the nature of our sports. You think you cross the line sometimes, but it's, if I see anybody on the streets, that I may have had an altercation with on the field, I don't see it as any legitimate reason to have any ill feelings towards them.
He's Troy Polamalu, the Steelers safety, joining us, Dan Patrick Show. I don't know if you guys have looked at the game film yet, but that has to be pretty tough, considering you gave up more points and more yards than any other team in the history of the Steelers organization?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we've looked at the film. There's obviously a lot that we could get better at. We played like a 2-5 team at that point, but fortunately for us, all the corrections are makeable. So it's not a lack of talent. So we'll see if we're able to respond correctly.
Would you rather face Brady or Manning if you had to make a choice? You had to face one of them. Who would you rather face?
Honestly, it really wouldn't matter. They're both very talented, have very similar things.
But how are they different?
I think Peyton's always been surrounded by more talent in the sense of, especially, the receivers and tight ends. Obviously, Tom throughout his career had Randy Moss and Wes Welker, but I think from a talent standpoint, Peyton's probably had the edge in what he's been able to play with, obviously being in Denver now. And not only that is, they've had pretty good defenses as well.
Gronk being back, the difference in playing defense against the Patriots and Brady with Gronkowski being there is what?
I mean, he's obviously an extremely talented. He's huge. He's a tough guy to bring down. Having Tom as your quarterback, makes it that much easier, But Gronk's got great hands. I mean, he'll catch anything that's close to him.
He's so big. He looks like he's even bigger now that he came back.
Yeah, when we first saw him, I was like, man, I forgot how big he was. We played against a few times.
But have you ever, you're going to, that moment where you got to hit somebody and you go, I know this is going to hurt. Is there one of those guys that this is going to hurt you as much as maybe it's going to hurt him? Who is that guy?
For me, I think it's just about every hit. Sometimes it could be a person that's smaller than you or bigger than you. It really doesn't matter. It all depends on the angle of the hit, where you are in positioning. So it really doesn't matter.
How many more years are you going to do this?
I don't know. I'm asked that question quite frequently. My response is always, when you live day to day, it's hard to talk years.
But you're a smart guy, and you have to look at, self-preservation here. How long do I want to do it? How long can I do it at a high level, right?
Well, after a game like last week, I questioned myself. No,
you were ready to quit.
So when you talk about high level, like what's your standard?
If I ask you Sunday at 8:00, were you ready to quit?
Like, I don't have it anymore.
But the enjoyment part of it, that comes with being talented. But when you start to regress in talent, how much more enjoyment can you get out of the game with just playing the game?
Well, I was joking around with somebody yesterday that, when your knowledge for the game becomes more than your athleticism for the game, it's time to start coaching. So I think it's just tough to discern when that time is and when it isn't.
Are you going to coach when you're done?
Oh, I don't know. I really don't know.
Oh, that sounds like a yes.
No, at this coaching circuit, man, whenever you look at any of their biographies, it's like 2 years, in Minnesota, 2 years in Southern California, 1 year in Florida. That doesn't look like fun to me.
What about coaching your alma mater?
Oh, I don't know. I honestly, I'm probably a horrible example for anybody that plans for the future.
Do you know what you're having for lunch today?
I don't.
Okay. All right. Tell me about cutting your hair, because this is a big deal with Head and Shoulders.
Yeah, well, Head and Shoulders and VFW have teamed up. Obviously, Head and Shoulders has done a lot for me in raising awareness for veterans as well. But I started working with the VFW a couple of years ago. Some of the statistics that they have are pretty alarming. For example, 22 veterans commit suicide every day. A large majority of our homeless people are veterans, but VFW has helped claim, I think, $3.7 billion last year alone in VA claims. So they've done a lot. Head and Shoulders have done a lot for me, obviously, with publicity in the hair insurance. But teaming up with them next Monday, hopefully we'll be able to raise awareness for veterans.
How much hair is being cut off here, Troy?
One lock of hair.
Oh, do you think you'll ever go buzz cut?
Well, I don't know. My son was joking with me the other day.
Wait, how long is his hair? How long is your son's hair?
Neither of my children have ever cut their hair since they've been born. But he said, my son said, "Daddy, I want to cut my hair like him." I said, "Son, that's blasphemy in this family. You don't talk like that."
Who was he talking about? He wanted to cut his hair like?
One of his friends at school has short hair.
I thought he was saying Brady or somebody like that.
He wanted the beaver cut.
Well, good luck with this. Great to hear from you again, and thanks for joining us.
If you don't mind, two of my friends, as always, a big fan of your show, Aaron Shoup and Justin Myers. I got to give them a shout out.
All right. Can I get a lock of hair one of these days for the man cave here, Troy?
Maybe I'll send you. I'll send you like $10,000 worth. Considering the insurance policy on it.
Yeah, send me the jersey you wore this past Sunday. I'm sure you want to retire that one.
Thanks a lot.
All right, buddy. Thank you, Troy. That's Troy Polamalu, Steelers safety.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.